Ladies and gentlemen, we have our very first legend player in Shared Skies, and it is. I should have pulled up the name before. Okay, Chris. It's CRISTIXNZZ, Christian maybe. So yeah, he's actually the only legend player as of right now, which is 9 p.m. CST. That I know of at least, and the only legend player on the leaderboard. So for y'all, it's going to be yesterday is when this happened. But I just learned about his team, so we're going to go over what team he used to get there. And if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get into it. Real quick intro, but we're going to go over the team real quick once we get to the battle scene here. So let's move to it. All right, so the team is going to be Lickitung in the lead with regular Venusaur in the back, and then Shadow Gligar as sort of the finisher. Although this is another one of the safe lead type comps, so basically like ABC, it's like the opposite of an ABB comp. It's basically if you win the lead, you can basically RPS your backline into whatever they're doing, or you can basically use Lickitung as a mon to get a shield and then allow a 2-to-1 shield advantage for one of your mon in the back, because both of these mon can carry. And then there's also the scenario of slightly lose the lead, get a bit of a farm down with one of these two mon in the back, and hopefully that advantage gives you some other advantage for the final mon in the back as well. So the movesets are going to be pretty standard. Actually, they're just all standard. Lick, Body Slam, and Power Whip on Lickitung, Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, Sledge Bomb on Venusaur, and then the Shadow Gligar is going to have a Wing Attack, Aerial Ace, and Dig. So all season I've been praising, actually even last season, I've been praising Shadow Gligar as just the safest swap in the league. So technically you could go to a Gligar safe swap here, but also it up energy can outclass basically every mon except for like Skarmory, and that is one thing you're going to note here. This team's kind of weak to Skarmory. You really want to face Skarmory with the Lickitung, and that's a fine matchup, and hopefully your backline just dominates their backline, considering that they're running a Skarmory. They probably have at least one Watermon in the back for the Venusaur. Alright, let's get into it. I should have been saying this all while this Lickitung matchup was going on, now that I think about it. But yeah, Lickitung, this is a stupid matchup. This will take forever. Them being normal types means that they both double resist the Lick damage, but you really don't want to send these other two mon into the Lickitung either, because it's very neutral against everything, and it's going to take you a bit to get the farm, to get the damage in enough to take out this Lickitung with, like, even with Venusaur having Frenzy Plant, you're not exactly going to one-shot a Lickitung, so it's going to get a couple of pot shots in at you. And you notice in this matchup, there's kind of just a lot of building. So once you plan it out that you're going to just go for this building strategy, and eventually just throw at each other constantly, it means that you can never switch in because there's such an energy advantage on the other side. Now that we're coming down to the end of this matchup, notice that their best buddy, my Lickitung, is also best buddy. I decided not to go for the Body Slam here, and then they kind of are doing the same thing, and I was like, you know what? I think I'll just let this go, and I'll switch right into Gligar. They go into their own Gligar. Hopefully this is about same timing. Yeah, it's going to be no delay on either side, so we get the extra one through. I figured they're kind of running like a similar team. There's also an Annihilate team, or an Annihilate in the back version of this team. So if you're looking for something different than like a Venusaur, you could run the Annihilate. I saw that multiple times today. But yeah, if I think it's going to be Venusaur, I end up going for the double shield here. And then I do get the farm down, which is nice. I do go for straight Aerial Aces. Obviously, these are going to be super effective against the Annihilate. I can go up to a couple more, actually 3 more. They're going to be right at Night Slash now, and I'm at pretty low HP. And then I figured they were going to throw it, and then they didn't throw it. But I'm going to come back in with Gligar. Hopefully they use some of their energy there, but they actually end up going for a counter, assuming that I'm not going to come in with the Gligar, which is interesting in its own right. They do want to see our last mon though, and it's going to be the Venusaur, which does resist the counters, but does get hit pretty hard by the Shadow Ball. It's a very high attack weighted mon in a general sense, so it's very squishy in a general sense as well. So Mantine, another flyer that this team's not too thrilled to see. The front matchup is a lot better, obviously, than like a Skarmory versus Lickitung matchup. But they end up switching into an Annihilape. I switched so slowly into this Gligar. But if this goes through, they're almost going to be KO'd, and a Shadow Ball does not KO a Shadow Gligar. So as long as that goes through, it's fine. If they shield, we shield. That's what we should be doing in that matchup. Yeah, and if they went for the bait, it'd be even worse. And then we're going to get actually a little bit of this energy here, which is really nice because they actually did switch out with a ton of energy. Lickitung able to take a lot of hits, so I go for a little bit of extra farm, and then I throw in really bad timing here. I'm going to blame a little bit of the lag here. You see in the top left corner, the ball was spinning whenever we were in the actual match. You'll see it again at the end of this charge move. It's right there. I actually had a problem most of the day with throwing on good timing for one-turn moves because of that. Because you have to throw in between the moves. If they're running like 2-turn moves or 3-turn moves, you kind of want to get the max amount in there for the one-turn moves, and that can be really hard when there's even a little bit of lag because each turn is a half second. So yeah, it becomes really difficult. The Diggersby matchup for Venusaur is obviously Venusaur favored, even though they do have quick attack, which is actually best case scenario for them because you can take one Fire Punch, which we did, and then they cannot take a Frenzy Plant. And now I'm 100% sure they're going to switch out because this matchup went up to 6 moves. And I'm just going to come in with Lickitung. I'm going to farm all the way down. I can get to maybe a Power Whip against although they got a Water Pulse. So I am going to go straight for the Power Whip. There's really no reason to go for the Body Slam. And then I don't throw the Power Whip, and I'm like, I don't know what I was doing. I do have a Frenzy Plant on the Venusaur, and I guess I'm all in on that because we end up CMPing, and luckily I don't get a one-turn delay or the moves don't show up or any sort of Niantic shenanigans to lose that matchup. All right, Sableye lead. This is, it's good enough for us. It's pretty good in general. The only thing is we do have to go for the Power Whips. They do go up to the return here. Actually, was it 8? I don't even know if they actually went up to the return. But, yeah, we're just going to go for the Grass Knot. If they shield, that's fine. If they don't shield, it means that they basically can get taken out by a Body Slam later when the lick damage does pile up. So they do end up throwing, I think, another foul play here, and I'm going to throw before they get to the last foul play, but I'm going to get max energy before I do that so that I can have a little bit of energy going into the last matchup. Or if they decide to shield, I guess I could shield and farm down. They end up coming in with a Bastion, and I guess I could have switched to something, but I figured I really want my Gligar to be in against the Bastion. The Venusaur is like an okay matchup against Bastion. The thing is, the damage does pile up over time, but you can win that matchup with Venusaur. Not in the zero shields, but you do live a flamethrower by actually quite a lot. It really does like 55% to Venusaur, which you would think it'd do a lot more, but I guess the pure bulkiness of Bastion means that it doesn't do a lot. Plus Bastion doesn't have a stab on, which is the same type attack bonus that because it is not a fire type, whereas flamethrower is obviously fire type. I decided to shield this. I don't know. They're just staying in this matchup. It makes me think it's really bad for them. They end up switching into the Azumarill. You can live an Ice Beam, so I decide to let them throw first. They do end up throwing here. Obviously, we don't have any shields left. They end up having Hydro Pump, which is interesting. I'm very close to 100 energy here. I think I could have gone for one more Vine Whip, but I decided to let it just go for it because we can get an extra farm down anyways. It's not going to get KO'd from that. And then against the Bastion, I just want to throw on good timing. We have a 2-turn move. They have a 3-turn move, so we're going to throw every time we get to 1, 4, 7 on the Vine Whips for our moves. It gives us the best chance of getting to more moves later down the line. And yeah, we can live a Stone Edge as well. It's a good thing we shielded a lot of those moves earlier. And they don't end up shielding, but we almost have 2 digs anyways there, so it's fine. Charjabug lead. Obviously we would love Gligar into this, but we would really hate Venusaur into this. So what does that mean? That means we just stay in this matchup and it's fine. They end up coming with a Azumarill. This is fine too. Again, we can live an Ice Beam, so I'm not too worried about what they throw here. They're almost they're in Frenzy Plant plus farm down range. They end up throwing a Play Rough, and then they just leave. I don't know if these Azumarill's just not running Ice Beam today or what, but yeah, we're good for it. Toxapex into Lickitung. I assume Lickitung's favorite in this matchup, but I actually don't know that. obviously Gligar would be amazing in this matchup. We did take that Sledge Wave, and it did do a lot. We don't want this against Venusaur for the most part, but also, ooh, they catch a Body Slam on Annihilate. Not great, but we can come into the Gligar here, and technically outpace if we wanted to throw here, but I also would. This is almost 99% on Night Slash. This is a terrible shield. Alright, that's fine. We'll live the next Night Slash if they do throw on 3, and they end up throwing on 3, so I know it's the Night Slash. I'm going to go up to 100 energy before throwing, or I actually can farm down in 5, and that means I'll go for that. So I have infinite energy now. Hopefully they come back in with Toxapex. They end up coming in with Poliwrath. I actually waited to see the top right corner, and I don't know if I just saw water and just immediately thought back to the Toxapex, but that sucked. But it's fine. We did get the shield. Hopefully this gets another shield. We can definitely go for another Air Lace. It's fine. We'll shield this. I could have thrown earlier. I don't know. I'm so scared of them trying to go for the catch here, and I don't want to wait a turn because technically they were at another Ice Punch there. I'm going to switch probably to Venusaur after this. Just try to get that farm down. They do end up going to the switch instantly, which means I can get to this Frenzy Plant before they get to a Sledge Wave. Also, we'll live a Sledge Wave. Sledge Wave coming from Toxapex, even though it's its best move. Actually, yeah, even though it's the best move, it is only neutral against us. We do have a Poison subtyping, which does resist other Poison moves, but that does a freaking lot. But I'm going to get a farm down, and then we win CMP against Poliwrath as the Venusaur, so that's GG. Alright, Azumarill lead. For the most part, it's good for us. We obviously have a grass move, and we're very bulky. It takes them a long time for them to get to their moves. Probably going to take them 3 play roughs to KO us, which means we're going to get to 2 Power Whips if we want to. Yeah. They end up not shielding, and then I'm like, I think I could actually get a ton more farm here. I get pretty low here, but I think I can get a ton more farm and maybe get to double Body Slam, and I think a Body Slam is probably going to be enough to KO this Azumarill. Plus, we'll have the Grass Knot, or we'll have the Power Whip, possibly, if they have, like, a Mud Boy in the back that they come in with. And we're really hoping it's not a, and we do go for the Power Whip, we're really hoping it's not a Skarmory, because Skarmory in the back here is just GG. Again, I think I said at the beginning of this video, but Skarmory is very tough for this team. I played against one Skarmory, and I lost to that Skarmory, so that battle's not on here. But I think I'm pretty lucky to have faced only the one Skarmory. Skarmory is a very good mon and very high usage, I would guess. I ended up playing this match out really terribly. Yeah. I think they end up getting the farm down here. I probably should have shielded the Venusaur since we highly outpaced, but I also went to the dig against the Kofa here. I probably should have switched instantly. Yeah, because now it's possible that they're just going to go for a Dark Pulse bait, although Dark Pulse does a lot of damage at this point, and then we have to do so much damage to the, well, to this. We have to hope this KOs, ends up living, and they get the move off. That probably basically kills me. Maybe we have one more Shadow Claw worth of HP left here. It looks like 2. Yeah. That's a tough one. Alright. Bastiodon into Lickitung, and then they stay in, so I go for a lot of energy because it does take them a long time to get to their move. We are going to shield if they do go for a Flamethrower, because it's very possible. They're so late to switch here that it's very possible Venusaur is very good against the back. My guess right now is it's probably that Poliwrath, Victory Bell team, Shadow Victory Bell, because both of those wouldn't be that great against this, but also they've stayed in with this Bastiodon very long. I mean, they're just staying in this matchup, but to show you here, Venusaur is very good against Bastiodon. We can definitely get to this other move, so we win the ones, even though they had an energy advantage. They can win the 2-1, but we go up the shield, which would be nice. They end up having a Bayleaf. I come in with Gligar. They show that they have Victory Bell. I throw the Aerial Ace, and then I'm going to dip to Lickitung because Gligar actually takes a ton of damage from the fast attack from Victory Bell. So I'd rather just my very bulky Mon soak this up, and I know I can get to an Aerial Ace against the Bayleaf because it does a lot less damage than Victory Bell does. I also let myself get really low here because I'm only going to get one extra move. I'm only going to get one more body slam off against the Bayleaf anyways. I don't want to take it a ton of farm. I actually don't even know what moves this thing has. I think if I was to guess, it has Grass Knot. Is this Bayleaf? Yeah, and it has Ancient Power. Oh, yeah. I'm 99% sure, actually. I have a Bayleaf myself, actually, now that I think about it. I don't have a Shadow one, but I had a regular Bayleaf that I created a long time ago. I think it does have Grass Knot and Ancient Power, so actually decent coverage. I see the Gallade come in, and I actually just assumed it was... I don't know what I thought it was, actually. I want to say I assumed it was a Medicham, but ends up being a Gallade. I could have come in with Venusaur and resisted all the charge moves, even though close combat would actually do a ton. But, if they ended up shielding that there, we probably could have gotten a big farm down on Gligar, which they wouldn't have loved because we would have gotten a shield back with the dig here. And they actually let us get the dig anyways, which is great. We're just going to come back into the Lickitung. We don't care too much about this energy. They do have Shadow Claw, so that is double resisted, and the energy going into the Lickitung here is fine. Oh my god, my eye itches. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're willing to take all the damage here because we know that we can have the Venusaur in the back, and hopefully that's enough to really just power through whatever is here in the back. Man, and this is always a Night Slash. I was like, it could be an Ice Punch. Ends up being a Night Slash. Then I'm like, this could be an Ice Punch for the next one too. But I'll probably just go for the double shield. Hopefully, this doesn't KO, I don't think. Oh, it does KO. Okay. Well, if they don't throw an Ice Punch right away, we get to the Frenzy Plant here, and I think they just miscounted because this is a CMP tie. This is absolute best case scenario for us. Probably just going to let this go. They do outpace to the next move, so you don't want to use that shield here when we know that Venusaur is just going to go down anyways to the next one. They end up undercharging. Great idea for them. They end up getting a ton of energy. Luckily, we are at a huge amount of energy here. We go for the one lick in between the Shadow Claw so that we throw on good timing with the one-turn moves. That's what I was saying earlier. And it looks like it might not have been enough, but I think they're actually at 9. I just don't know if they can get to any of the Ice Punches in 4. I think that it's an exact 5 because, yeah, 9 times 5 is 45, and I believe Ice Punch is 45 damage, 45 energy. So someone let me know in the comments if that's correct. I'm pretty sure that is. All right, Mantine in the lead again. This is a matchup we want to stay in. And then they switch into the Gligar, and I'm like, this is terrible. But I'll wait for them to throw against my Lickitung, and then hopefully this damage plus an Aerial Ace and the Wing Attacks will be enough because I'm going to switch to my Gligar here. They do have a 1 energy advantage, a 1 Wing Attack energy's worth of advantage. So they're always going to outpace. We're never going to go... I could try to go for a CMP, but that's so risky. So I'm just going to go to 4 every time since they, again, are 1 ahead of us. And, yeah, hope that KOs, and it does. So we are able to beat that Gligar. Gligar is a very tough matchup when it's a safe swap, especially when Lickitung is good in the intro or in the beginning. They come in with Bastiodon, a weird choice to say the least. They do have to throw a move at us. They cannot farm us down. I guess they could farm us down if they double shield. Well, I guess they could farm us down here, but they're going to take damage or we're going to take blue shields. Both of which we're fine with. Venusaur can make up the difference here later. We can definitely bring in Venusaur, get a little bit of energy. 1 shield is going to really buy us a ton of time here. The Mantine's still alive, so we do have to throw in good timing. Again, 147. But they switch in the Mantine right away. Only thing is this Mantine has a lot of energy. They actually... Did they throw a move at Lickitung? I don't remember. But I figured I could survive an Aerial Ace here. But then I got really scared that it wasn't going to be close enough. So now I'm like, okay, now if we can get a shield here, we're going to be good. And then right when I think about it, I'm like, oh, but we actually want to get taken out here because we need Venusaur to get as much energy as possible to beat the Bastiodon. Because right now they have 2 Smackdowns, which means they're 5 away from the next one. Which means I can go 7 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you look at that, I'm 1 away, and they are at the move right now. So if they throw in bad timing, they probably win. Again, we said Flamethrower does about 55% damage. I actually think it does a little less than that because we actually do survive. And we get that Frenzy Plant. Man, that was a great game for us. That was an amazing game. Whew. Was that the last one? No. Okay. Alola Ninetales. Oh, I remember this game too. This is a good one. Okay. They end up, I think, going for the full charm down. No, I think they end up throwing. Okay, we'll just see, I guess. But we're very bulky here in the front. We're going to be able to get one of these shields back. This move's not enough to KO us. It's a question of whether or not we think we should shield. I'm not going to shield. I don't really care too much about it. We're going to go for this next body slam, but we're going to do as much damage as we can before going to it. Most likely when people have charm in the front, they do end up shielding. Makes sense. I decided, I think, to come in with Gligar because I'm going to shield no matter what. So I want to go for the thing that's going to give me the most farm because they're not going to get to 2 moves here. So, yeah, we basically get 4 wing attacks here going into this next matchup. Ends up being a Azumarill into Dragonair. So the only thing we can do is go for the bait and then go for the move and hope that we have a big enough energy advantage to... We should be able to outpace them, to be honest, because they did switch in late because the bubble took up a lot of time. I thought I CMP'd there. I think a Sludge Bomb is enough to KO from here. We're both Shadow, both attack weighted, and then it's a matter of how much damage, how much bubble damage can I take before Azumarill KOs us. And I definitely get to the 1 Frenzy Plant here, which is nice, but they could be at an Ice Beam right here. So I'm gonna wait a turn, switch in, and then I thought I was at the dig, and I was not at the dig, but we would have CMP'd anyways, so that's fine. But we waited the turn to get that win. It's very possible I could have won that with Venusaur anyways in the back, but it was very low because when I say that, I mean throwing Frenzy Plant. Well, I guess we always had an Aerial Ace. Maybe I could have just swapped in Aerial Ace, but I was afraid that they were going to throw the move right away, anticipating the swap, and then we would have been screwed. So, yeah, did what we could do there. GG's to my opponents. Again, congrats to, I'm going to say their names, CRISTIXNZZ, for being the very first legend. I believe he is... He's a Spanish-speaking player, but I don't know where he's from, so I guess I'll just not say that. But yeah, congrats to him. There's always one person to be the first legend, and it's very satisfying if you're seeing him on the leaderboard here, because he's literally the only person on the leaderboard above 3,000. There are a couple people, well, there's one person at 2988, so hopefully they get legends soon, and maybe we can showcase what their team is as well. That would be pretty cool. Anyways, thank you for supporting this channel. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And if you are subscribed, make sure to double check and see that you definitely are. And I will catch you in the next one.